segment of the show that I've been looking forward to for quite some time now. I put it out on the Instagram, which is _1nil. Make sure to follow that to know when I'm uploading a new video. And I've asked the followers for some of their unpopular opinions for this Premier League season and just in football in general. Now, to start off with, you'll be able to see it on screen, and don't message the boys and harass them, except for Matty Boy. It's fine. You can message Matty Boy, especially if you're 18, single. Don't worry, I'm joking. Matty Boy says Leicester won't make the top 6. That's interesting. I obviously had Leicester. I think I had Leicester 5th on my ladder predictions. I can see where he's coming from. Can definitely see where he's coming from because defensively, Vestergaard was an important signing. Is it a centre back that's got to rock the world? No, but they've got European football. They've got Champions League football, and we know last time they played Champions League, maybe their depth wasn't as good back then. I don't think the depth is even as good now, but last time they played Champions League, they really struggled to balance the two and really struggled to have a good balance between Champions League and the Premier League and to really keep a common ground between the two leagues. I don't mind it. I honestly wouldn't be surprised if Leicester don't make the top 6. I don't think it's like whoa, that's a shock. If they finish 10th, then yeah, 100%. But if they finish like 7th, 8th, I go, you know what? Maybe they don't really know who their best attacking field is. You know what I mean? Like, does Perez start? Does Madison start? Does Iheanacho start a bit out wider? Does Iheanacho start through the middle? So I wouldn't be surprised by that one. I don't mind that. Next up, we've got Liverpool will make the top 4. Wow. I think Liverpool will make the top 4. I don't think they'll finish top 3. I've obviously put them to finish 4th. I also do think Liverpool are in a perfect position this year. Liverpool are in a perfect position this year in the sense of a lot of people are writing them off purely because a lot of teams are getting better and they sort of stayed in terms of transfers and even just ability. I think United's players are increasing and improving, whereas Liverpool players, it felt like they sort of just reached a bit of a halt, and we get to see them go okay after their obviously unbelievable 2 years that they had. I think they will make the top 4, however, but it's an unpopular opinion for a reason. It's an opinion, so drop it in the comments. Do you think he's talking absolute nonsense? Next up, and a very, 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 very interesting one. Romelu Lukaku was not worth the fee. Serie A suits him to the T. They call me Roald Dahl. Okay. This one's interesting, the Lukaku, and you want to maybe use it as a bit of clickbait. The Lukaku signing for Chelsea is very interesting because obviously we saw him in the Premier League with Manchester United, and obviously, yes, he was with West Brom and Everton, okay, but he's a completely different player now to what he was then. We saw him with Manchester United, and he copped a lot of criticism. Maybe he wasn't used the best, sometimes he'd be pushed out to the wing. Maybe United's tactics didn't really suit Lukaku as best as what they could. But I do agree because once Lukaku was part of Inter Milan, once he was part of Antonio Conte's system, everyone's raving on how good Lukaku is for the Serie A, how good it just suits him. If he stays in the Serie A, if he stays under this environment, he's going to win trophies galore. I know Inter Milan is in a bit of strife and in a bit of trouble as well, but then he's come to Chelsea, and maybe I personally think it could be a bit too soon. He's come for a huge fee as well, 97 odd mil. That I feel like there's a lot of weight on his shoulders. And you might disagree with me. I don't think he likes the pressure. I know he's got a bit of that arrogance that we saw him last year against AC Milan. He stood up to Ibrahimovic. He was quite a dominant figure in the Serie A, but I think deep down he knew that he was one of the boys. He was like, yeah, I'm in the Serie A. I run this place. Comes to the Premier League, I hate to break it, Rom, but you're not. Okay, Bruno is, Greenwood is. Okay, I'm definitely excited to see him. It's not a bad signing. Okay, it's one thing you want to make clear. It's not a bad signing. I think if someone comes here and says, "Yeah, here's Lukaku, 97 mil, here's yours," not many people would go, "Damn, we just signed Romelu Lukaku." It is very interesting. Okay, I think this obviously makes it clear. Werner was close to it. He scored goals last season. Couldn't have even scored a lot more. I think now it means Werner will probably obviously play a little bit deeper, maybe wider, or just in behind. Lukaku needs to really prove his worth this season. And maybe I'm jumping the ball and saying, "Wow, what you're only giving him one season?" Yeah, 97 million. You're one of the big boys now, Rom. One of the big boys. Prove your worth, okay? Because Chelsea fans have hyped you up. Chelsea fans, some of the first to say how bad you were at Manchester United, and the first to say how good you were in the City A and how much you suited. Now you're in the blue. Don't disappoint them, Rom. I'm looking at you. I know. So it's an interesting one. Let me know, will Lukaku at the end of the season come and say, you know what, that's a good season. We've done it. Will fans say Rom smashed that signing? It's an interesting one. Let me know in the comments down below. The next up, we've got football is becoming more of a job than a passion, which I like this one because I think now we're definitely seeing footballers being more aware of making themselves a brand. We can see, I know Greenwood is slowly starting to get into that, even just simply making a logo off their name. We're seeing Rashford. Obviously, he's done a lot of great stuff for the community and for the country. Rashford is very much a brand as well. Jesse Lingard's another perfect example. David Beckham was one of the first biggest brands. Footballers turn into brands. Ronaldinho is the same. Okay, and obviously Messi and Ronaldo are the biggest ones. Ronaldo arguably the biggest of all time. Uh, yeah, I think it's still a passion because I think you need to be passionate about devoting your whole time, your whole week to training, eating, working out, religiously and keeping yourself to a good standard. But I definitely think a lot more people, especially now in the current climate, are like, okay, how much can I monetize myself whilst I'm playing and whilst I'm playing at a high level? Which then does sort of mean it's my job. How many players are making their own celebration for their brand? Jay Ling's perfect example. When he did that, I can guarantee you part of his reasoning is, okay, if I make myself a a a celebration that people know is Jesse Lingard, perfect. I can whack that on a t-shirt. People will buy it. Kids love me. Let's do it. See, I don't totally agree with you. I don't totally disagree with you. Sorry, so I don't mind that. And next one to wrap it up, Thomas Tuchel is the best manager in the league. I do think he's very underrated. I do think he's very, very underrated as a manager. Do I think he's the best in the league? No. I'd still rate Klopp above Tuchel. I think obviously Pep Guardiola. Yes, I know he's got unlimited funds. Some would say, but he's a very, very good manager. I think I'd probably put Tuchel top three. Definitely, I think he's probably the third best manager in the league currently. If Chelsea can go and make a dominant run in the Champions League, maybe not win it, but make the semi-final and be very, very, very good this Premier League season, then I can maybe bump him up a couple of spots. But I agree, he's very underrated, but I don't think he's the best manager in the league. So that's going to wrap us up for the unpopular opinions and a bit of the Premier League preview as well. If you have enjoyed up to now, please like and subscribe, do all that business, because up next we've got Fruity's Fantasy, and you're not going to want to miss it. Okay, Fruity's Fantasy. Take me away to Fruity's Fantasy. 2 minutes.